All right. So, here we are again. It is the Hatening. I'm your host, Hoop. Today I'd like to talk about like making compromises or giving up things for your partner, and whether that is like a condition upon the relationship starting or a condition upon the relationship like continuing. You know what I mean? I've always had like mixed emotions about this, and I'm bringing this up because a buddy of mine met somebody and there are conditions in place for them to like progress further than like a talking and like have hooked up like once or twice situation, you know what I mean? And it involves like the amount of partying and like, like little things where it's like, it's not that big of a deal, but it definitely is like, I mean, honestly, it's understandable. Like, hey, if we're going to get together, you need to kind of like grow up and not be like a single dude in your 30s anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. Like, not only do people have their preferences, but like, like if you're someone who has their shit together and like you like someone and you think they have the potential to also have their shit together, I don't think it's unreasonable to be like, hey, I need you to kind of like grow up a little bit because like I want to date like someone on my maturity level and not, someone who like still acts like we're in college. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? But sometimes that shit can happen and it is not cool, and people like use that to be controlling and use that to like take advantage of people, and it can really suck. Like it can really, really suck. Sometimes I think that it's good and people need that structure. Sometimes I think it's really bad and people can be abusive and manipulating and controlling. So it really is like case by case, right? You know what I mean? Like I have been with people who have essentially been like, hey, like our relationship can progress to a certain point, but like you got to quit smoking, or you got to quit drinking as much, or you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. Like, and it's like, okay, like I see what you mean. Like, yeah, like if you don't smoke and you want to be with someone and like smoking grosses you out, like, okay, like that's fine. Or like, oh, like you don't drink or you don't drink that much and you think that like blah, 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 and you don't want to hang out with me when I'm drinking. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know. I've been with other people who have been like, hey, if you want to like get together, you have to like become a vegan or a vegetarian. Like, hey, if you want to like get together, you have to like stop playing video games. I think that shit's stupid. There was someone one time who wanted me to stop watching porn and stop jerking off. That went over like a fart in church. I can't help who I am. But like that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, like I see that shit a lot, and especially with like, getting older, and a lot of people, once you get like to your 30s and stuff, they start kind of like looking ahead in their life and being like, okay, like biological clock, like social clock, we only have so many years to like, maybe have kids or get married and then have this kind of like life that I think would be fulfilling and what I kind of want to do. Some people do get desperate, some others don't, but a lot of times there does come a time where you're like, okay, like I'm willing to change my life. And either I can do that on my own or I can use other people as motivation. And I don't see anything wrong with that at all. Like I definitely exist in a somewhat similar space where like I'm single. I definitely have some bad habits, and I definitely could be better with a lot of stuff. But I just like don't, because it doesn't necessarily negatively affect my lifestyle right now. So like I don't really give a shit, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like if I met someone and they're like, hey, can you just like do these things more or do these things less, or kind of like change the way you approach the situation, like I don't know. Like I'm definitely down to have those conversations. There are some deal breakers, but a lot of it's like, okay, like whatever, like that's fine. In the same way that I would expect, like if I met someone that's like to be the same. But time and time again, when I talk to the homies, when like I have friends and they're like, oh yeah, I met someone, they're really cool, except like they don't like anime, and they said they like don't want to date someone who like watches anime, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's like, I don't know, man, maybe you should find someone else, because fuck that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that anyone should be asked to change who they are, unless a core part of who they are is like objectively like bad shit, Like, I don't think it's like bad for someone to be like, oh yeah, like I would date you, but like you have a cocaine problem, and like I can't be around that. I don't think that's bad, right? I think it gets to be a little bit more of like a gray area where it's like, I don't want to be with someone who drinks and you casually drink. Like, obviously, if you're like an alcoholic, like a full-time alcoholic, or like you problematically drink and you drink and drive and stuff, or if like that's fine for someone to be like, hey, can you chill out, And also at the same time, like if someone's like, hey, what's up? My dad was a fucking drunk, used to smack me around. I don't want to be around people that drink. I really like you. So if you stop drinking, we can date. And if you start drinking while we're dating, we want to leave you. That's more situational, person to person, right? But at the same time, like, I don't know, like, obviously people need to make compromises when you're dealing with other people. And, it just becomes murky where I think self-esteem has a lot to do with it. Like, I definitely know people who have been like, oh, I'm dating out of my league. Like, that person is way hotter than me. And in order to keep them around, like, I have to start wearing like different clothes, and I have to start like not going to shows that I want to go to, and I have to start like watching movies I don't like and hanging out with people I don't like and all this kind of stuff because like I'm lucky for them to even be giving me attention. I don't like that shit. I think that shit's fucked up. But I don't know. At the same time, like if you meet someone and they're like, yeah, I really like you, but like, I don't eat pork, and like when I come over, can you just like not cook pork? Like I just can't. Like the smell is fucking gnarly. I think that's okay. You know what I mean? I have a lot of friends who are in kind of like those situations where it's like, when we're not around, I don't care if you smoke weed, but if I'm coming over, can you just like not smoke weed? Because like I don't smoke weed, and I find it very boring that you smoke weed and then just are stoned. But it definitely happens. I've gone through periods, darker periods of my life, as some people may know, or I've talked about or hinted at least, where I have found myself like either trying to be with or being with people who weren't the best people for me to be with, but I was like so convinced that I couldn't do any better, or that like I was unlovable, or like that kind of stuff that happens when you're having like a depressive episode, or when you're going through like a really hard time and life changes and stuff. And I definitely have like sacrificed parts of myself to be with someone because I thought that this is like the best case scenario for me. You know what I mean? Like not seeing friends, not going out, changing where I hang out, not watching certain things, not like eating stuff, drinking. Like I have like gone through phases, large scale and small scale, where I've really had to just like change a lot to fit what someone else wanted me to do. And then you realize that they don't actually like you. They just want to be with someone who think that they can change you and mold you. I've had people even admit that, which sucks. It's like shitty, but also it's like dumb because I don't know. Fuck you, dude. But yeah, like if you find yourself in that situation, I hope you can find your way out of that situation, or find a compromise that makes you not feel shitty, because even if you're having a bad time, you're definitely worthy of love the way you are, and you're worthy of respect and friendship, and you're worthy of all kinds of stuff. And like, it's not the end of the world, and not necessarily a bad thing if someone's actually looking out for your best interest and asking you to like adapt, change your habits and stuff like that. But also be very, very, very cautious of people who start making rules and withholding love and withholding attention and sex and that kind of stuff if you don't follow those rules, and really trying to get you to change and become like a different person. Like that's definitely not okay, and it's not cool. And hopefully you have people in your life that you can talk to get yourself out of that situation, depending on how bad it is. Because I don't want you to get your feelings hurt. Like it sucks to be in that situation, and it sucks to have friends in that situation and deal with it and all that stuff. And so like on the extreme negative end, like it's really bad. It can be very, very, very bad and scary and depressing. And so hopefully you're not dealing with that. If you are, I hope you get out of it. And I hope you have people to reach out to. And I hope that people reach out to you about that kind of stuff, that you can provide them some kind of help. At the same time, if you are, not operating at an optimal level because you're going through something, or, you're just like you're just a person being a person, and you're single, and blah, 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 and you meet someone and they want you to make changes so that you can be better, and you agree that you could be better, but you're just like have anxiety or depression or general malaise, or like it doesn't bother you, but then like if that's what keeps them around, not so much because you're changing, but because it like shows effort and shows initiative, and like especially like with cohabitation stuff, like if you meet someone and they're just like, I can't stay at your house because you don't clean your sink, so if you clean your sink, then like I'll consider staying over. Like, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. You probably should clean your sink. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are things where it's like, okay, like if you start dating someone or you start seeing someone and they're like, yeah, like I'm not going to sleep at your house because you definitely don't wash your sheets. So if you get new sheets, like, and then wash them, like we can definitely see what's up. And sometimes people just want to see that kind of effort, and other times people legitimately are just like, no, it's just like gnarly, dude, and like I can't deal with it. So use your discretion, but also like just be aware that like some people are assholes and don't have your best in mind, and other people are not assholes and they do have your best in mind. And it is hard to differentiate sometimes and pick that out, but you kind of have to. And I'm sure that you can. I hope that you can. And if not, use it as a learning experience, because we all kind of get fucked over by people. Also, don't feel stupid if that happens to you. I definitely like was really embarrassed and felt really bad when I got out of like a pretty stupid relationship, and like had to be confronted by all my friends about how much I had changed and like sacrificed, and like how whack it was that like I wasn't around for like some person who didn't really treat me good. And I kind of just had to like eat that L and then learn from it, and no, I won't let it happen again. So unfortunately, if you're stubborn, you know, you have to go through it yourself. So, but you'll be fine. You'll get out of it okay. And then it'll let you know what you actually want in someone, and it'll let you know your self-worth, and then it will prevent you from having another situation like that. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Andrew and I really appreciate it. We love you guys very much. If you like the show, please like and subscribe, tell your friends, give us a good rating, all of that stuff. But yeah, take care of yourself. Also take care of the people around you. And double also, don't forget to tell your friends you love them.
Hey, Andrew. Yes, Jesus again.
I call you back. Again, bye.
Andrew, please! To please